I can't believe this day has finally come. If you've been around for a while, you know I'm the proud owner of a 2012 YZ250. I rescued it off the sandy streets of Southwick, Massachusetts for a not so reasonably inflated post-COVID rate. Took it to the track and then immediately disintegrated the piston. But after the first full rebuild, it has treated me so nicely for the last 3 years. I gotta say, the bike is looking pretty darn good right now, but looks can be deceiving. Pretty much everything on this bike feels about as roached as bike parts can feel. The wheels are flat spotted, the bars are bent from my super consistent turning. And the last time I rode it, it started vibrating more and more until it felt like my crank was about to shoot to the moon. So today, all of that's gonna change thanks to motorsport.com. Motorsport has hooked it up heavy. There's a stack of probably 15 or 20 boxes sitting in the house right now, full of everything I need to make this machine feel the way it should. But first things first, we gotta get this thing into the garage. Forget it. We're in. First up on the agenda, I need to figure out why this thing felt like it was about to go full nuclear on me. Let me save us both some time real quick. That's all it takes. I was actually supposed to go all the way to the engine out, but I might have just discovered one of the issues that I was encountering here. You know, we got everything off out of the way just so that the motor could come out real easy. And when I popped the spark plug cap off, I noticed something pretty weird going on. This piece was like hanging on by a thread. Well, actually, literally, it was hanging on by a thread. It was, oh, there goes my phone. Now that doesn't quite explain the vibration, but that could explain the weird intermittent bog I was getting towards the end of that moto in the last video I recorded on this thing. Hopefully, everything inside is looking pretty normal. That would definitely do the trick. Let's keep diving in though. I've got one more engine mount bolt to go. We're gonna see what my last grease job was like. Oh yeah. Okay, no movement. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I might have forgotten to grease that one. Here we go. Lift with your back, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Ah. Beautiful. Pinch all the electrical. Now for the fun part. Let's see what's inside. Oh. Let's get you in here. It's a pretty low hour piston. I think there's only like 15 hours on it, but perfect all around as it should because the smart carb is jetting it beautifully. I don't know if that's a lot of, I don't think there's any vertical though. That was my main guess. I thought the bearings would be going and it was like knocking up and down, but maybe it's getting a little bit of crooked action. Who knows? I'm trying to get the light, but the plating right here has completely chipped off. You can hear my fingernail hit it. That should not be like that. It should be nice and smooth. We're getting to the bottom of this mystery, bit by bit. I'm gonna speed through the rest of this, but if anything else comes up, I'll be sure to let you know. Back to the time lapse you go. Ta-da! World's slowest mechanic got the job done. We're in. It only took 2 separate days and a lot of frustration because we were having some struggles, but there it is. It's almost time to get to the Christmas in June new part unboxing party. But quick review here. The verdict is crank got very cooked and is pretty wobbly. This bearing retainer was just free floating in there. So that may have been part of the rattle that you guys were hearing in those videos. Some people were chirping me. I thought it was my Kickstarter, so I was just saying it was my Kickstarter. But yeah, we'll pop these bearings out, and I might have a different shirt on the next time you see me. Welcome to day 3 of something that should have taken maybe an hour or 2, and it's now the 3rd day. It's finally time to open some boxes. And first off, the most important piece of this whole puzzle, Vertex engine rebuild kit. Although it may already be pretty much empty because I've been picking my way through it. But yeah, Vertex was kind enough to contribute the entire engine build package. This kit had everything I needed to fully piece this thing together. Like I said, I kind of picked out of it already. I had a very traumatic bearing installation experience. It's hard for me to focus on all this stuff when like I'm not very good at it and I have to think of the camera too. I appreciate you guys, but it's difficult. But yeah, we got freaking every pack of everything, all the bearings for the bottom end, all the gaskets, the seals, anything you need. And of course you can get it at motorsport.com. Make sure you use my link that's in the description Next step is to pound some seals into this thing, then we're going to slip the crank in, which is not present right now because I just put it in the freezer. Sorry, I'm a little out of my mind, but we're going to get this thing together. Maybe 3 more days. Unfortunately, at this point, things went a little bit off the rails. This whole build was taking place at the same time that we had to dismantle Tom's freeride course, which hopefully you saw in the last video. But all those work hours and multitasking was too much for my tiny mechanic brain to handle. And before I knew it, my Florida time had run out. So I had to take my partially assembled motor and every single nut and bolt, pack it up in my van along with the chassis, and send it back north for some bicycle shows that I don't have any footage of. But eventually, weeks later, we resumed with a new host. Welcome to the most chaotic workspace you've ever seen. I'm Jay from 3 weeks in the future of the last mechanic clip that you saw. I currently have bikes and parts and motors scattered everywhere. It's good for my brain, but we're gonna finish this bike. I gave a quick time-lapse shot of reassembling this whole side of the engine case, but unfortunately my camera ran out of battery in the time that it took me to go back and forth from the manual to the thing and then double check that I was doing everything in the right order, so time-lapse doesn't look very productive. But it's done, it's assembled, everything is torqued and perfect, and it's time to get the last piece of this engine puzzle together. Hinson Racing has provided a whole clutch kit. There's nothing in this box because everything has been soaking in this super high-tech vat of transmission oil and clutch plate. Now admittedly, I'm not the hardest on clutches. For the whole 70 hours of the last build, I had a Hinson clutch in there and it lasted the entire 70 hours. So I didn't really see a reason to change, and I'm very thankful they decided to hop on board, throw me some plates, some springs, a little bit of bling that you're gonna see a little bit later. Now this is something I can do without looking at a reference every 5 seconds. Start with the fiber and then alternate your way. Alternate your way through. Ta-da. Let's get this bad boy on there. Pretty much the end, because I know what to do after this. Yes. That. We're on. And one of these lies. The Hinson clutch cover. Let's get a look at this bad boy. Oh, we're serious now. I feel like if you see a bike that has one of these, you just know it's nice. It's dialed. Yeah, let's zap it on. That is looking cool. I think I need an O-ring. I do. Boom. Serious. That was probably the longest bottom end rebuild the world has ever seen, but we're nearing the end of the motor portion. I'm a lot more familiar with the next part of the engine. And to help with that, Vertex is popping it again. This is the other part of the full engine build kit. Got some rings and a wrist pin, little mini bearing, and a beautiful, shiny new piston that's gonna push some freaking power. Then the final element here, a freshly replated, nice looking cylinder. Quick torque spec lookup, and we are going. And then we're gonna start putting this freaking, make it look like a dirt bike again. Torque specs required. Always keep a finger on it because, with my luck, it will go flying straight into my eye like it could have just done right there. I put the wrong clip in. Not a big deal, just means I have to do a motor spin and rip up my beautiful happy birthday covering. It's actually way easier in the bike, but I wanted to. God dang it. Head installed. Doesn't that just feel good? Let's get these in there too. A little bit of this. I think on that note, it's time for the big lift. You guys have your backs warmed up? Are you ready? God, that looks good. Freaking. Wasn't sure I was ever gonna see this thing in the frame again. Here goes something. I forgot my method. Oh, I hope you can see that. Look at that! Fitment is pretty darn good. Obviously need to put the plastics on to get the full idea, but I've heard people talk down aftermarket radiators before, but Turner's doing pretty good here. Swipe some OEM hoses. Everything pretty much lines up exactly how it's supposed to. And it's definitely a little bit straighter and less beat than that. I think it's time to take this thing outside. But we might be lacking a couple things. That we'll discuss later. But the main thing that makes it roll. I am very excited to show you what we're going to be rolling on. Part makes me feel like a baller. Just give me a second. We're getting in the daylight. Look at that. These things look so legit. Blacked out, black spokes, black rim, black hub. Renthal hooked it up with their ultralight rear sprocket, and Turner's got their own rotors on there. I've never had any wheels other than stock, and these are gonna look so trick. They're also gonna be a little bit more circular than my current set that I'm working with. Every time I launch a jump, it's like I'm on a jackhammer. Give me a second to figure out the spacer situation. We're gonna throw these things on because it's almost time to debut the full kit. We're gonna put everything together, see how it looks, and then, fingers crossed, it's gonna start and life is gonna be good. Oh, we're doing it. Freaking did it. Now I skipped a few steps because I didn't want to really give away any of the color scheme, but you've seen enough of my mechanic work. You deserve to reveal. Here we have it, the white and red YZ250. She's complete. Motocutz absolutely killed it on the graphics. Thrillseekers came in clutch with the matching red and white seat cover that blends nicely into the rear fender, exactly how I wanted it. We also completely switched up the controls. Renthal shot me a package straight out of England with a nice set of Villapoto Stewart fat bars. I promise I won't immediately push the front and destroy these. And for the contact points, we got their new super soft lock-ons. I never thought I would want those fancy like factory grip covers, but just from holding onto them with my bare hands, like my dead skin is stuck to them because they're so grippy. But yeah, that was a lot. And it's still not entirely done because we have to start it. I'm excited and incredibly nervous. So I came to this nice, peaceful, weird tree background. I get some fluids in there before I completely destroy it. I gotta remember to add a little more bonus capacity for the Hinson. I'm committing hard. We're putting a lot in here because this is not gonna have to get removed. Hopefully that's gonna guarantee a startup instead of curse me. And the next clip you see is me rocking back and forth in the fetal position. Alrighty, give it a couple preliminaries. I don't know if the flop has enough. The compression's a lot more than it used to. Here we go. Oh, we might not be able to do the flop. Oh yeah, I need a boot. 1 second. Okay, we're back. Oh, darn it. Yeah. Okay, we're 5 seconds in. So far, no catastrophic noises. Let's get look at that. She's cheating. Just like Cassidy with a freaking vape. I think I did it. We'll let this idle for a heat cycle real quick, then I'll give you some revs. I'll tune back in about 20 minutes.
2 heat cycles later.
Oh, I was gonna hit the button, but it did it by itself. All right, there you go. There's your rev. 6 hours later. I have not been able to stop smiling all day because I can't believe that this is mine. I can't thank everybody that was a part of it enough. Motorsport.com, first and foremost, for organizing this whole deal and hooking it up with a ridiculous amount of parts that this thing desperately needed. Then we got All Balls and Vertex coming through for the fresh motor. Renthal for the fresh controls because I have a tendency to launch the bike into the ground a lot. Hinson's gonna have this thing hooking up hard. And then of course we got Motocutz and Thrillseekers for the full livery we got going on. So much better than I imagined. It's absolutely perfect. And then Turner came in clutch with all the filler pieces. We got radiators, we got freaking fresh trick wheels, filter, Kickstarter, all the goods. So if you guys are in the market for any parts of any sort, please support the companies that support me. Use my link when you go to shop at Motorsport. Like I said in the beginning of the video, all these parts are available on motorsport.com, and you could build yourself a replica J-bike if you want. Let me know where the first ride video needs to be. If you have a track, if you know a cool track, please let me know in the comments. We're gonna let this thing eat. I cannot wait. Now if you enjoyed this questionable mechanic adventure, I'd appreciate if you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time on some sort of wheels somewhere else. I think I'm gonna be in the Northeast. Let's see that. Goodbye.